Welcome, everyone, to episode 3 of Offend at Will. I am your host, Rothy. Thank you so much for joining us for our first 2 episodes. Hope you all have been enjoying them. We are going to take a little bit of a detour today for today's episode. I'm really excited about this guest. He's become a friend of mine, and he has one of the most interesting life stories that just shows the power of rehabilitation and believing in oneself. And so as a part of Offend at Will, I always want to kind of showcase real life stories and the shit that we all, some of us really deal with some shit out there, Some of us have had some hard times, more so than others. And it doesn't mean that you are relegated to a life of just doom. It really is your choice and what you do with your life and your decisions. And our next guest is a stunning, stellar example of that. I'm extremely proud of the work that he's done. I'm super honored to be his friend and help to promote him and the work that he's doing now. It's going to be, a pretty deep and we're going to go through some dark things in this, but it's all a part of the story. It's all a part of the life story. And so let's go ahead and introduce my next guest. He's been a convicted killer. He has been released from prison after almost 30 years serving in prison. He has had cellmates such as, I believe, Lyle Menendez.
No, I was neighbors with Lyle Menendez.
Yeah. So he's been in there with some, with some people that we've all heard about and that are pretty notorious with this shit. But without further ado, please welcome my next guest. His name is Kenny Thunderberg. Thank you so much, Kenny, for being with me today on Offend at Will. What I want to do really quickly is your story. I'm still, I've been reading your book, and you know that you and I have had like multiple in-depth conversations about your life and the things going on, the things that have happened in it. We've talked about a lot of deep shit together. One of the things that I am super just surprised and very just kind of blown away about, with regards to you is how deep of a person you are, how much of a passion that you have for things in life and how much you talk about your pain in your book and in life in general and how you've kind of worked through a lot of that stuff. I guess if you can, it's a little bit different for people like us that are quote unquote normies, you know what I mean? That haven't gone through the things that you've gone through. We've not done, hardcore prison time. We've not done, we've not gone through the gang life like you have. And so it's a little bit hard for us to kind of, wrap our minds around that. And I really want to give my audience a good opportunity to do that. Please excuse the door in the background. That's my landlord's trying to open the back door. I was wondering, what the hell is that? Okay. So with that being said, Kenny, let's go. Let's talk a little bit, let's just get out of the way. What did you spend 30 years in prison for? Let's talk about the crimes. What was done?
When I was younger, I got into an altercation with an older gentleman and I caught a manslaughter. They dropped it from murder to manslaughter. I did from 12 to 22. Then I got out. I was fresh with the gangbang mentality. And I was still a kid. I really didn't learn nothing in Hawaii, but just had a fight. And I just wanted to be a gangbanger. So I got out. And then I got out and I didn't have a home. My mom wasn't happy to see me. So I just hit the streets. I never really got high too much because I was away from it. So I just hit the streets going crazy. And just, it's because it's what I wanted to do, though. You know what I mean? So, yeah, really, at the end of the day, like, if I would have did anything, if I would have got out, I figured in my head, if I would have got out and even just tried to do good and I would have went back to jail right away, it would have been like, so but then while I was in jail, I committed, every time I go to prison, I'll get 4 years, I'll turn it into 6. You know what I mean? So, in-house riots, murders, in-house stabbings, assaults, and stuff like that. Just a little bit, I wouldn't say the normal stuff a regular prison gang member does, because I always played them a little bit extraordinary, try to be better than everybody. So but that's just my mindset. I mean, so I really never really got sentenced to too much years from the state, but it's always the extra time that I've caught in there that's stacked it. Like I got a 16-month term. I turned into 6 years. I mean, so
wow.
And there, like I grew up in the system in the early '90s. You know what I mean? I was part of the Gladiator School at Corcoran. I got out 22. Didn't even know it was as a big a deal. And I'm seeing movies now about it. It's in the book. Like, it's all in the book and deep, vivid detail. So, but I was just young. So I was just young. And then my birthday having a lot to do with it. Me being a Scorpio had a lot to do with it. But I already knew I had those little bit of ways, and I knew I was smart, so I knew how to maneuver and manipulate. So, but I was just whenever I did anything, I didn't really care about getting in trouble. The first time I got cracked, I did a lot of time. I mean, I did a lot of time. So, but it's I learned a whole bunch in there though.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about, I know in your book, especially towards the beginning, you talk a lot about your family and especially your father and, and the kind of love that you had for him. I know that you, you have expressed that you love both your parents, but you went through some things with your family and growing up with your siblings. And, even the part about you finding a dead body one day.
Somebody's at my gate. Can we get 1 second?
Okay, sure. Go ahead.
Hey, I'm on the, yes.
Edit this part
out. That was nice. She bought me a blanket. My neighbor got me a blanket. Can you still see it? Or is it want me to open the door again?
No, it's fine. It's fine. We can see you.
I'm sorry about that. I didn't know she was gonna come over.
That's okay.
But,
that's okay. All right, we'll go ahead and restart. Okay, so we were talking a little bit about your childhood and the book and how it goes into some of the struggles that you had, young as you were a youth in life. And tell us a little bit about your upbringing and maybe somehow those experiences may have led into some of your pain and some of the decisions that you made that led to prison.
Growing up as a kid, I thought I had the best life ever. I had a mom, I had brothers and sisters, ducks, chickens. I played with the homies. I didn't really think what my mom was really doing to me, beating the shit out of us, and was really that. I knew it was a little bit worse probably but maybe it happened to everybody and just something we just didn't talk about. You know what I mean? So I thought it was happening to everybody. So, but I remember like the first time when I was real young when she hit me, I just remember saying, like, being real young, I remember saying, just remember everything everybody ever does to you like this. Always remember it. I swear, I said I was real small, and I remember saying that. Remember this. Every time she does you, especially this person does it to you. But then I would go to school and I would fight, boom, 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 and then I would get suspended, and they'd be like, "Well, what happened?" I'd be like, "Oh, he said something about my mom." And then my mom would be like, "Oh, my baby." That worked about 4 or 5 times, and then it was like. And then once they realized it wasn't working no more, then the people really did start talking. So it was always like I was getting it at home and at school. I was ADHD, but my family loved me. My dad loved the shit out of us. He worked all the time. I don't think he didn't really know. He was an alcoholic, so he really didn't know. Well, I can't say he didn't know the extent to the way my mom was beating us, because he would fuck my mom up too when he would drink. Though he'd be the greatest man. He had his faults too, but. And then shit just changed up. We moved to Arizona, and then that's when everything just went crazy after that. I mean, like, my mom, my mom was over there. My dad had to come back to California from Arizona because, like, we just got uprooted, and my dad had a big job out here in California he had to finish, so he just dropped us off over there, moved. And as soon as he left, my mom left. She left us all abandoned. Like, she never was there. My sister was almost subjected to being. They say she was, but I don't say I never seen it. but something happened over there with the people that were watching us. So me and my older brother took the bats to him and his wife. So, but we were just left alone for a long time. So my little sister, the one that has cancer, she's the one that she kind of raised us a little bit. But and this shit, it was just crazy over there. But my upbringing was cool. Just besides my mom beating us, we found dead bodies. We lived in the barrio right there in Rosemead, San Gabriel. Richard Ramirez. If you Google his sister, Mary, Mrs. Ramirez was our school recess monitor. Then they had a son together, I guess, and my older brother used to go play with them, but we weren't tripping. We used to do crazy stuff though. It was cool.
That's crazy. That's one of the things that I was kind of wowed about, that you and me had that commonality of the Richard Ramirez thing in our childhood. As I told you, my father ran in circles with Richard, in El Paso before he went out to California. And yeah, I grew up with, I guess, one of his other sons over there. So that's crazy to me. But so it sounded like, and then in the beginning of your book, there was a story that you told about the time that you guys were like sledding down a hill or something, and one day you go up there and you smell like a really bad smell in the sewer. So you get a big stick and you open with the rebar, you open this thing and you found a dead body.
Yeah, it had been smelling in the neighborhood for like a couple of weeks, and everybody would complain about it. My mom, the neighbors, but man, what? It'll just be like in the summer, and they'll just be like, what is that smell? But we had goats and chickens, so sometimes something would die. So that's maybe what we thought it was. One day we were just riding down them things, and we have this rope tied around. It was like a sewer that came out. We had the rope tied all the way down, so we slide down and we pull ourselves back up. And then one day, me and my brother just pulled ourselves up that big old sewer thing, and then we smelled that smell. We just looked at that sewer thing, and we're like, let's look in there. We've been doing that our whole lives and never ever thought to open that thing ever. So then we're like, how are we gonna open it? We looked, there's a piece of metal on the ground. My brother put it in there, pried it off halfway. We looked down there, and then the smell just came out. Boom! I was like, damn, what is it? We looked, but you couldn't see nothing down there. So like it was when we're underneath the shade cover because there's trees. So we're like, let's go. And I really didn't want to go down there. So my brother was like, I was like, come on, let's go home. Let's go to dinner. It's about late time. So we took off. We ran all the way back home. We forgot about it. But then like the next day, my mom said something around lunchtime. She's like, damn, there's that smell again. And then it triggered me and my brother. And I was like, hey, let's go look in the hole. So we took the flashlights and we ran down there. Then boom, I go to flash the flashlight. One of them don't work. The other one's all dead. But anyways, I get down in there. I jump. And then my brother lands behind me. And we walk. And it was just a slumped up dead body down there. And we're like, damn. Gone like a rewind. And then next thing you know, we were in the newspapers. We got bikes and all just so
crazy.
Yeah.
So a lot of experiences in your childhood that were kind of really outside of the norm, I guess, quote unquote, of what a typical childhood would be. Definitely some abuse in there, and uprooting of your your living situation and with your parents and stuff, and some addiction with your father and stuff like that. Did your mom ever come back after she had left you guys, or was that
no? My dad came and got us all six that one night. Well,
that was when he came and got you.
And he drove with his brother, and he took us. And I remember my mom telling my dad, "You can't take him. He's not your real one, or the other one." And the cop told her, she's like, "He's taking all of them, lady, or you're going to jail now." So he took us all back to California. But my dad, that was his only wife he's ever been with. She did him dirty, but my dad was still sick too. But he was drinking. But we wound up going back to Arizona. I remember my dad, he was jealous too. He would be like holding me up on the fence. He's like, look who's in the room. If somebody's in there, I'm gonna kill him. I remember my dad holding me up on a gate, telling me, look who's in there. Look who's in there. I was like, dang, man, like. As a young kid, remember seeing that murder in my pop's eyes. And then I even asked my dad about that here recently. I said, don't think. He's like, I was going to get him, son. My dad, he was a Marine too, you know what I mean? My dad, he's like, the best man I know in the world, man. He told me that. He's like, I was going to get him, son. I was like, I know you were. So he came and got all 6 of us, and he quit cold turkey that day. Never drank no more again. We all wound up going to my aunt and uncle's house, and then from there we wanted to go into my grandma's house, and then from there we went to my other aunt and uncle's house. And I guess I was too mouthy or too ADHD for them to put up with, so my dad wound up having to send me to take me to my mom's house, and then that's when I just went over there and just had fun over there. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And at what age did you catch your first body? What age did that happen, and what age did you first go in?
But 13, about 13, 14. I don't remember the years. I'm older. I forget I'm older than a lot of people in my age, because I think my birthday started after the school year or something like that. So I think it was like the beginning of like 13 years old or something like that, right? Beginning. I was smarter. I was a grade ahead of everybody my age. So it was like the first year of high school, I think, something like that.
Yeah. So you went in for a couple of years at first, and then you came out a few times, had a few other cases, a few other situations, started getting into the gang banging, things like that, and continued kind of this cycle of going back and forth in and out of prison.
No, it wasn't. Oh, I never really ever went to prison for gang banging. Really never ever went to prison for gang banging. Like everything was just, even what I went to prison for wasn't gang related. The first, even what old boy died over, you know what I mean? It is, but there's certain things that I don't mention in my life, because I've worked hard to get a lot of shit covered up. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Like the last time you would Google Kenneth Thunderbird, the first thing that would pop up would be LA County Jails, LA County's most wanted. Now they got some crazy picture on there. So I'm slowly working on getting it removed. Now, when you Google my name, the first thing I think that pops up is my book, because I'm in contact with people that, I mean, so, and then I don't want everybody to look at, the only reason he's here because he murked somebody when he was real young and shit like that. Like, I knew what I did. If I like, like here, I'm about to go on TV here, not on TV, but with Ian Bick. That's a big name right there. I don't want to go on I don't want to go on there and tell a story like this. I want to be able to go on there and tell a story like this, but at the same time, like,
right,
like
it's all a part of the entire story of redemption and coming from dark to light, and it showcases just how far you've come and what an incredible transition has happened in your life. It's pretty mind-blowing to me, even as your friend, and as I've gotten to know you. Like I said before, the fact that you have such a big heart. People think about, hardcore, hardened criminals that have, done the things that you've done or that have happened to you in life. And we have this preconceived notion that you're just like these hardened criminals that have no heart. And that's not the case at all. That's not what I've come to find with you. Come to find that you have a tremendous heart. You have a very deep soul to you, and you care about a lot of things, and you've just been through a lot of shit, right? And so now, now that you're out, you're working, you're a published author. Let's talk a little bit about your book. Let's talk a little bit about the reviews that it's getting. Let's talk a little bit about the people who have contacted you, who want to hear your story and who want to tell your story. How many days was it before you, how many days were you out from prison before you went on that first podcast? Was it like 6 days, 3 days?
6 days, 6, 7 days. Then I went on, Hood Stocks. That one got the short got almost, I think got almost 1 million on it, but then the long one probably got a couple 100,000. But there's a whole bunch of different little shorts that got 200, 300,000. But I didn't think it was that big a deal. But a lot of people made memes because I cried, because I went on there. I got out. This dude right here talking madness about the little homie Lefty doing it, but everything I said was facts. And I mean, so that's why I went on there. But he got me on the show. If you watch it, he got me. He kept trying to shit on me a few times. I mean, like, so hey, how long you been positive? And then when I told him about my cancer, he was like, "Oh, I can't shit on him now." But then, I kept shutting him down because I knew what he was gonna come at me with. You know what I mean? Like, with, hey, how you gonna be this and this, but be like this? So I shut him down. But then I had to let him do his thing. So there was a lot of negative and there was a lot of positive. At the end of the day, there's the most reviews and the comments on that interview. But that was a good experience. It was crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
I wish I would have went on there and did a little bit better. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, and that's got to be one of the most challenging things. I know that like people that come back from like war or in the military and stuff, them just getting acclimated to regular everyday civilian life. I mean, how has that been for you? You know, getting a job and finding a place to live and all of those things. How has that been working out for you?
I still ain't been able to find a job yet because I got run over here in April, so I'm disabled. So, and then the area that I live in, but I do my author thing. I got other little gigs and stuff I do. You know what I mean? So I'm doing, and then I got a little couple of resources with the DOR and stuff like that. But now I'm just trying. Hopefully, here after maybe December, I'm probably going to start going to school probably take like a SUD class or something somewhere I can sit in an office and answer phones or something because I'm not trying to go work no more.
Right.
I can type, I could write books. So, but it hasn't been hard really. The only thing that's really been hard on me is like I've been out here and my sister, she's right here. So that's another situation with her family and the family and the way that I guess they see me over there or whatever his family sees me. And so, I mean, then I get in my feelings and then I'll say some fucked up shit. I mean, so that's where we're at now.
Yeah.
I mean,
so I mean,
it hasn't been hard
process.
As far as me transitioning and knowing what I got to do and doing the right thing. Now it was already like there's no more drug use in me. There's no more selling no more drugs. There's no more being around them type of people no more. I haven't had to work since I've been out, going on a year. With the little bit of money I have right now, I could probably say I probably won't have to work probably for maybe another year. You know what I mean? But yeah. I don't live extraordinary. I don't have nice clothes. I don't have any jewelry. I got a dog. I mean, so, but there is a transition emotionally is, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, for sure. I mean, you spent a good part of your life, having to answer to people and, you know, to even take a shit or, you know, to go get something to eat or to do what you need to do. And then suddenly you have freedom. And, you know, you've shared with me a few times, the thought that I don't want to say that you shouldn't be out, but like that you should have been, you know, that the lifestyle should have gotten you a long time ago and that you are grateful that you're out and that you know a lot of people that are still in who have, you know what I mean, that it's almost kind of like it doesn't make sense in a way that you've gotten out and that you've been able to have this life of reprieve and that you've been able to rehabilitate to the point that you have. And I mean, from my perspective in those conversations with you, it seems like you're just you're grateful for it, but almost kind of like it's surreal. Like sometimes you got to remind yourself of like, wow, this is my life and this is really happening. And I really wrote a book and it's really getting rave reviews. And the people are really wanting me to come on their podcasts and people are really wanting me to, you know, you've got some pretty big names who have who contacted you and wanted to do interviews with you and align with you. And I think that says a lot. Okay. So yeah, we're talking about the fact that you're now, you know, in a new life and you started over again. You're now a published author. It turns out that you're a brilliant writer, so much so that you have been commissioned to write other people's books. Do you want to get into talking about that and some of the works that you're doing right now?
Right now, the only real book I'm really writing right now, talking to is with Rich Bundy, Ted Bundy's little brother. we've been talking. I think I got like the first 3 or 4 chapters of it. It's going all right, but working with the son sent to a little bit and messages and on the phone, and I think
You breaking up. You broke up
he kind of expressed to me the other day. Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's better.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think he said the other day he said he's already had all his story told, the son of Sam, but we'll get something out of him though. You know what I mean? I mean, but
okay. So
I got
go ahead.
No, I was just saying that I had this girl. I have another girl out. She asked me if I could start helping her write her book. So, but she sent me some crazy stuff, and then like she ain't contacting me back anymore. So I don't know what all that was, Bill. But so
you're looking to start a career as like an author now. You're wanting to write for people, wanting to write more books. You found that that's a skill and a passion of yours that you're good at. Per your book called Introduction, which everybody should go out there and download. You can buy it off of Amazon, the paperback, or you could also do the download. It's called Introduction, and it has all of his actual. Those are his art pieces. That's his art that he has included on the cover of that. So make sure to, and I can tell you, I'm very ADD when it comes to, I've just got so much going on in my life that it's hard for me to sit down and read, but your story is absolutely captivating. And I can see why it's getting the reviews that it is, because it's quite the life story. And the thing about it is that it's continuing to happen. You know, it's continuing to happen to you. You're continuing to live it out. Now you've got the good part of it. You've got a lot of the bad. You know, you got the bad done. You got the bad phase over with. You went through hell. Some of the stories that you've told me, and then some of the stuff that I've read in there is just, it's unthinkable. It's unthinkable.
It turns in. It really turns in. I really don't like to tell nobody and tell you, although you read it, but it really turns into a testimony. Like, I guess a living testimony. I mean, because at the end of the day, I didn't write the book for my sister. I didn't write it for because of my sister beating cancer. That was one of the reasons in the book. I didn't write it because I was released. I just wrote because I was just wanted to do something productive really in life, and I guess people use it as a couple. Maybe if only one person has told me it's been used as a vessel that helped somebody, and they fought. My brothers read it. You know what I mean? So it's a story, but it's just like I don't like somebody said in my family, like, oh, you wrote a sob story. I ain't sobbing in there at all, bro. I don't sob in that book one time. I think I maybe cry in that book one time, but I don't. You see it when I don't read. I'm like, oh, why me? What happened? I just keep going and keep going and keep going, and so
yeah.
And there's been a lot of craziness over the book. People try to assassinate, say I said this because they want to read a specific little part of it. Oh, look, I told you, I said. You know what I mean? It's a book, bro. There's going to be a dialogue. Somebody's going to say something in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they grabbed onto that. Look, he said he was a rat in the book. Oh, look, I told you he was on a PCR, man. Get out of here with all that stuff. So, but it affected me too. That really affected me too. I mean, but
so
I'm cool. Like,
what are some of your thoughts now as far as where you're at now? And you said something key right now, where if somebody can be inspired by it. So with your life story and where you've come from and the things that you've gone through and where you are now, what is some of the takeaways from Kenny Thunderberg's life story? What are some of the main takeaways that you would tell people to not pay attention to, as far as like that's really not important, and the things that are important and what they should really take a look at and highlight and learn from you?
I really want people to read my book and be like, really? Like, is somebody reading my book and they're like, damn, this shit, or this, you know what I mean? Or they compare their lifestyles and the dynamics and shit. It makes them like see like I don't know. I don't think I could explain that right. Like it's not even like a like. I like sometimes when somebody picks up like a inspirational book or like the Chicken Soup or the Soul or something they want to go into to reference and just be like damn, because that's what I did. I'm a writer. You understand? Before I was a writer, I was a reader, an avid reader. You know what I mean? So when I would read books, I would want books. I would have books that I would put on my shelf. So I would go back to later on because that's how I got my inspiration was from, and it's just something as simple as just reading a couple words from something that you like, or maybe even getting my book just to say, oh, look, I told you, or just to ridicule it, whatever. But I had people go on, look, read the whole book. Look, I told you he said this, bro. You read 700 pages just to get there and just to get. I commend that, bro. You know what I'm saying? So it took you out of doing whatever you were doing because you was doing that 100%. But it's just really like it's just there's just like I don't know. Just if you read my book, it's just a good story at the end of the day. I mean, and it's real.
Yeah,
that's what makes it 100%. I've had people say, take the names out. I'm going to sue you. Family members say, change the names or we're going to get a lawyer. Like I've had people say, I think you need to change this name because so-and-so is my wife's brother. Like right here, I live in the city where all this shit transpired at. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's just something that I did constructive. Anything you do in constructive, pretty much. If it's not a book, it's a video game, build a social media network, build a relationship with somebody. That's what I really got out of the book so far, being able to meet people of different mindsets, like that tap in, like, hey, fool, like Ian Bick. I don't know what's in store on that. That's a big name. That's that's huge. Presented by Mike Tyson.
For sure.
Like I'm watching your show grow. Like I don't even know what to wear down there. A suit, a shirt, what I'm gonna say. Hopefully he asks the right questions and he you know what I mean. Understand. I'm just trying to really push this book right here.
Yeah.
I mean, and other people's books, and it's easy. It was easy. It was to write it physically. It was some besides getting my tattoos. Just my tattoos took almost the same time it took to write my book. So it's a whole body suit with the whole book. So it was hard to write, but it was crazy because I was in the feds for 60 months and I was getting transferred, COVID, the shoes, cell to cell, building to building. And my book, if you would imagine this, I imagine the SEALs going there to pack my stuff up, seeing all the papers, all in every single shelf, all over this is trash, but they just threw it all in the bag. And then I get it. That's how I spend my time. I get all my book in the bag in the shoe, and I'd be in the shoe, and I just have to go put it together a page at a time. So that's how I spent that much time on it. It took like 2 months to find what pages go where in my book but I had to do it maybe like 6 or 7 different times. So
wow.
That was the time I spent on it. I mean, the drawing of the book cover, the stories involved in it. Like that at the end of it got a living story where, like, I tell you, like, bro, I just barely jumped on the phone with my sister telling me she beat cancer just right now. I mean,
yeah.
So,
wow. You mentioned something that, and you've gone into depth with me before. I think that this is probably one of the, in my opinion, it's one of the most intriguing parts of the story, and it's a story that is parallel to so many others who have experienced hard incarceration like you, and that is dealing with the politics of the prison system. I know that you were in prison throughout COVID, and you had talked to me about like multiple days that there were no COs there. You guys didn't eat. Talk a little bit about that. Talk a little bit about, you had told me about some sort of, I don't know if it's legislation or a statute that they're looking to have where they just decide to take all of the prisoners out if something happens. Like, go into depth more about the political issues within the actual prison systems?
Well, it depends like what levels you're on. If you're in a U.S. maximum security prison, or you define it like a maximum security inmate, there's different. They like in a state of emergency, time of war, they got specific ways that they'll execute the units. But it's just the mind control that they have. Like imagine being in there already being controlled mentally by the staff and administration, and then getting put on a lockdown because of COVID, and then you're in your cell hungry because they ain't fed you breakfast and it's 10 o'clock. And then you're like, damn, then it's 2 o'clock and they still ain't brought you breakfast. And then at 3 o'clock, they bring you breakfast and lunch. And then like you're starting a trip. Like, you ain't getting your showers. You can't get on the phone. You can't, you know what I mean? People start looking for other outlets. They're like, oh, well, these guys back there in the hole, they're still getting their phones and everything during COVID. So you had people beating up their cellies just to get back to the hole so they could go to commissary and they could talk on the phone and go to yard with us out there. You know, there's just different methods. But in my book, I describe a lot of that about how they, just the stories on the way they mentally use their power. And that all starts with the mental health system, starts all that, the way they do all that. But there's really no mental health delivery system in prison. Because if you're an active gang member and you take mental health delivery system, you're not an active gang member anymore. I mean,
right.
Like, just because you're an active gang member don't mean there ain't people that need medication.
Right.
You're not able to take medication. That me knowing my life, my whole time, I was taking medication before I went to jail as a minor. You know, Ritalin, Dexedrine, Adderall, because I was ADHD. Incarcerated, and I know I'm this type of way because I pissed my own family off the way I acted. Imagine me acting this way around people that didn't like me or already were looking for reasons. Like, that's why I got in so many fights. The federal government's a lot different than the state. The state, I had a better time in the state than I did in the feds. I mean, the state just, you could have TVs and stuff like that in the state and the feds. The feds is just, I don't know, but you meet a lot more mentally wise. The feds was a lot better play than the state. I mean, because I met a lot of big names, a lot of big people. I seen the way people actually, now when I get out, how just even doing this, even one podcast, I still applied what I said I was going to do in prison. You know, I still got out, put as much pressure I could. If my book doesn't do no more after today, I did what I could, bro. You know what I mean,
yeah,
I'm an author. So I'm trying to get it into the prisons. I'm trying to push it into the prisons. I mean, so I think maybe I have to change the book cover or something because I don't think they're gonna let it in with that book cover. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
but it is on Amazon.
Yeah, it's on Amazon. It's called Introduction by Kenny Thunderberg. And you can also download it as well. Is it on audio version? Is there an audio version available or just the digital?
If you get it, you can read have your own voice read it in whatever audio, you know what I'm saying? Right. Like if you got the Microsoft Word app, you can hit it and whatever voice you have in your Microsoft Word app will read your book out.
Got you. Okay. Well, and you're open to writing books for other people, authoring other books, correct? That's something that you're doing, commissioning, as well.
Rich Bundy right now.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be flying out here soon to do like it's been going good. He was supposed to be, I guess he wants to be flying out here soon so we could do a real documentary video, and we're going to have you and whoever, we're gonna make a real documentary and try to push that. I guess France wants to start pushing it to like Netflix and stuff like that because once again the A&E channel just paid him for an interview, and A&E's pretty big, bro. So we just got it. And then the Bakersfield Bug Underground one, the interview that I put him on, he did 2 there. He wants to be able to have a Rich on there like once a month to keep him trending because I think that the KGET 13 Bakersfield News had an interest in the interview too.
Nice.
That's pretty cool right there.
Yeah, I think that's going to be. I'm interested to see since this is your first book, so it's a biography, but it's about somebody else versus your versus introduction, which is your book about you. It's your autobiography. It's your life. It's you telling your passion. So this is actually a different application of your skill set, your writing skill set for somebody else's life, which is going to prove. I'm interested to see the difference in that and to see how that comes out. You know what I mean? Because you're telling it from somebody else's perspective.
I'll send you the what I got written so far. It's all right. It's more like it's all right, but I got it later on after it's all the way written. Then I'll go back and put the little other things inside there. We'll get it all. Well, my book was easy because it wasn't easy, but I just wrote. But my main thing when I was writing my book was like, no, but the hard part about me was like, damn, like I had so much other stuff I could have said. Like at the end of it, I kind of summed up my whole Oklahoma prison bid real quick in a few pages because I just already really I could have kept going on the Oklahoma crazy stuff, but I think I went off on every aspect. That's why I gave you in this book right here, the one online. This is the only one that got the poetry, the handwritten poetry. But I'll send you that on the PDF, and then there's like 6 short additional stories that, like, there's people in the book I talk about that I tell you have major impacts on my life, and then like they just fall off in the story. So I go back later and tell you, like, just in case you're wondering about, like, my mom, she falls off a little bit in there. So I tell you later on, this is what happened with me and my mom. This is what happened with these people I mentioned over here. This is the girl I got tattooed on me, crazy. It's like, and then I take you a story where I take you about all what it means to get a tattoo in prison. I try to make a tattoo gun, but a lot of my tattoos represent you know what I mean? So the importance of having a good celly. But the crazy thing about my book is this is what I realized was after I read all the poetry from forward to back, like I told the whole book just in the poems. You know what I mean? Like you read all the poems, it's all so literal. Everything that happens in the poems, it's like when you read the book, you'd be like, oh damn. So I think I wrote.
Yeah. And that's been a great outlet for you. And I think that the success that you're finding with the promotion of your book and also bringing, now authoring other people's books is going to continue to grow. I think it speaks a lot to how people should really turn to their creativity to transmute a lot of the shit. You know what I mean? Like it makes sense. You said something to me once, and I forget the words that you used, but it's just like almost like it doesn't make sense that you're out or that you're blown away. Like you got to remind yourself, and it's kind of like surreal to you. And I think that that's because you lean so much in on your creativity and you lean so much on transmuting that energy in a different way versus continuing to fight and continuing to rack up more years and more time for yourself. You learned how to get that stuff out in a better way. Would you agree with that sentiment?
Yeah. I was just tripping out. I would like. It's just I don't know. Like, I just do everything right here like myself. You know what I mean? I appreciate everybody, all the, the good stuff, the good people and all that. But at the end of the day, it's just like, I guess it's manifestation. You know what I mean? Thinking about it, prayer, thinking good, wishing it into existence, putting good people in your path that's willing to help you do something. Like this is crazy or this out of my norm. Like hopefully when I go with that on this next one, everything goes legit. But I don't know, this everybody. I mean, it's crazy that you see like my sister suffering over there still from cancer. She never done nothing wrong, and then I've done all this, and I'm over here doing good. You know what I mean? And then I don't know. It's just life's crazy. That's what it really is. I mean, and then meeting how I met you, how I met Franz, how I met Rich Bundy, like. But that all of it's cool is because now it's a positive energy coming this way, no matter what. Even if nothing comes of this, we're still friends off of this. we're still friends no matter what.
For sure, for sure.
I talk
Yeah,
to Sal all the time.
yeah,
So
and shout out to France, Sal. Shout out to him and his belief in you. You know, he was the one that contacted me about you, and and Rich, and has really just he just has a huge belief in you. And my friendship with France is, you know, he's known me a couple years now, and he's a hugely supportive guy, and has a lot of positive energy for people, but he sees the good in people. So I know that if he's somebody that is promoting you, you've got something that he's wanting to share, you know, and that he's wanting to have highlighted. And I think that that's a great thing, overall. But yeah, so when is your big interview? You said December 3rd. Is that your big interview coming up?
yeah, yeah,
And getting excited about that?
yeah, hell yeah. I already did one the other day with that Matthew B. Fox. I think I failed that one because I don't know. He said they're editing it, but I don't know really. But he said he knew Ian too, so I was like, hopefully they don't talk. And he's like, man, dude was over there acting crazy on my podcast. But I forgot. I even forgot I was supposed to be on there. I was supposed to be down there in Bakersfield, but his was big too. His was like, and they know each other too. So man, hopefully he doesn't try to holler at Ian and say nothing. But if I ain't tripping. If it don't work out, it don't work out. But yeah, December 3rd. My life is like I said, it really never ever works out. You know what I mean?
Well, a lot has worked out, and you are out. You know, you are not in the prison system anymore. You've gotten a reprieve. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious to me now as your friend, and the conversations that we have. You're still working through a lot of your shit. You're still a human being, Kenny. At the end of the day, um, you know, a lot of people may look at me and a lot of the things that I stand for, and the fact that I stand for righteousness and justice in a lot of ways. And they may look at this show and may be like, why are you giving this guy the opportunity to speak? Why are you caring about what this convicted killer, you know, quote unquote, has to say and what his life is? And that's because we've all fucked up. We've all fucked up in different ways, you know, some of us in worse ways than others. But we all deserve, you know, if we come to the fact of we come to ourselves, essentially. We come to ourselves and we come to the things that we've done and we face it and we do the work and we do the time, so to speak, and we do the hard work on ourselves, then things start getting better in life. And I know that, you know, you just mentioned this, like things don't work out. I mean, a lot of things are working out for you. A lot of things are getting good for you. And so just continue to hold that positive motivation in your life. Don't go back to things that are, you know, don't let those bad thoughts take over again. You've gotten you've gotten over majority of the mountain. You know what I mean? And now you're doing great things, and you need to continue to just go forward in that capacity. Each
Yeah.
each each show, each step is a learning process. And when I tell you that, that's for me too. It's not just because I haven't spent one day in jail doesn't mean that I don't have my process and that I don't mess up and that I don't need to, you know, try to do better and get and bring myself back up again. We are all human. And these are human stories that, you know, I'm wanting to feature here. So, with that being said, I thank you so much for, you know, taking the time today to speak with me and being open with my audience about this. I would encourage everybody to go check out Introduction, which is the first book by Kenny Thunderberg. And look out for him on social media as well. Let's talk about your magazine, the XXL Chicano magazine, and where they can find you on social
Oh,
media.
that's an entity that I started just to try to just write about, you know, our people and Mexicans and or just pretty much Mexicans. And I just started writing articles and then they like about royalty and then Kid Frost and like they liked it. They tapped in. So like now I got a friendship with royalty. Been doing this thing for 40 years with Low Profile Records. I had like Snoop Dogg, Cocaine, Mac 10, shoot me their songs and ask me to drop a review for the double XL. But I kind of slowed down on that right recently, I guess, because I just chose to do. I don't know. I just chose to slow down a little bit on it. On there, I got another direction I'm gonna go. But and then I had my business partner on there. He did some what always goes down. You know what I mean? So now I'm trying to reconstruct the double XL page, and really I wasn't the one making all the posts. I just wrote the articles, and he would do all that. So now I got to learn how to do it myself and do all that. But so then it's all right. We'll do something bigger with the double XL. You know what I mean? So. But I made it go viral, though. That's for sure. They know it's mine. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just something I did just for fun when I got out on social media, and people liked it. It don't got a negative look to it. I mean,
right?
Everybody liked it. Everybody tapped in. I went to events. I've hosted events. I've been with like Too Short on stage, Tretch from Naughty by Nature, Baby Bash, in Fresno. Cocaine invited me personally to his event backstage. I mean, for double XL. So, I mean, so everything you see on the double XL page on Instagram, I know all of them. I talk to them all personally on the phone. You know what I mean? That's how I do my business. Every copy of my book, besides the ones on Amazon, up until this book right here, or the emails, I personally delivered it myself, or put it in the mail, or sent you the copies PDF myself. I mean, I don't know how many people. I know there's a lot of people that downloaded it, but I did the free book giveaway. So until only time I get paid off those is when the number of pages that turn. You know what I mean, but right. People who have been buying the paperback and the hardback. There's like 20 or something comments on there, but for some reason I tell Amazon, like, how come where's the other comments and the other ratings at? And they say that they got to be reviewed, and sometimes. They take time to post, or sometimes they don't. They only put the highlighted ones, or the global ones or something like that. So I called them the other day because it says 4.9 rating, but I looked at all my ratings and it's all 5.0. So I mean, so I don't know what's going on there. But, yeah, but
okay.
I'm gonna try to republish it on Barnes and Nobles too, because I think once you do a Barnes and Nobles publish on them, I think they give you like a free book signing thing at one of their stores or something like that.
Nice.
But it's on
Where
Amazon.
Can people follow you on social media? What are your handles?
Kenny.Thunder1111, Kenny.Thunder111 on Instagram, or just XXL Chicano Entertainment. Any of them. Those I get at all those, and then Kenny Thunder, but personally, if you want anything to do with the book, my website is ogkennythunder.com, all lower cases, ogkennythunder.com. This will pop up right here, first thing, and then you'll be able to read the first 48 pages. And if you go down to buy now, you can hit the buy, or you could even download this PDF. There's some music on there. There's some other. There's like more. I think there's more reviews on my website than there is on the Amazon website. But
all right,
they're directed to the same place.
Well, good. Well, we're gonna definitely stay in touch with you, and we're gonna keep up with how you're doing. Interested to get a update on how things are going with introduction, as well as with Rich's book as we go along, and your all's interviews as you go. So yeah, hopefully we will see you back here in a few months after. We get a few more of your interviews in, and when do you think the book with Rich will be done?
Well, I'm not going to put a timeline on that. I don't know. It depends how much he's willing to go into. How much he's willing. It really depends on Rich.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we'll definitely stay in touch with you. Thank you once again, friend, for coming on and sharing your story with us today. Okay.
Yes, man. I've already seen it right there, the Oracle Talk Radio Network. I remember you telling me the other day you're happy about that. Cool.
Yeah, they've been, shout out to them for sure. They've been, Tom is the founder, and just super, super supportive of me and the Offend at Will endeavor that I have with the show. And he's really given me just carte blanche to do what I need to do to showcase the life stories like we're doing right now, and to talk about the political stuff. I'm sure you've seen a lot of my political stuff online. So yeah, shout out to them for that support. And yeah, we're going to be doing some big things with Oracle. So thanks for mentioning them.
If I could give you a reference to another person that you guys should link up, is the one that did Rich Bundy's Henry the Bug from Bakersfield Underground. They're good people too. I mean, so maybe you could help him out, because he's trying to do his thing too. But it's just about networking and giving everybody equal respect. But at the end of the day, everybody got to keep God in their heart, and like you say, keep going forward.
That's right. Great words to end with. Thanks again, Kenny, and we'll be talking soon, okay?
Okay.